Welcome to the Footy Museum, the Footy Museum podcast, coming to you from Chicagoland, home of the undefeated Chicago Fire against St. Louis City. So, 2 games against our new rivals in 1 week, one in the Open Cup, one in regular season action. Both games, just poetry in motion, highest level soccer.
Never seen football played at such a high level.
It was
before.
like, I don't know, if it's almost like if you asked Michelangelo to paint a game of soccer. No, they were not pretty. The second game was prettier than the Open Cup game, but they didn't give up a lead, and they won 2 in a row under the new old coach, Frank Klopas, his 3rd round at coaching the Fire after the team parted ways with Ezra Hendrickson. So, new old manager bounce.
New old manager bounce.
And I'm enjoying it until it stops next week.
How high will the bounce be?
How are Leeds doing?
Leeds are doing great. In that they didn't lose this weekend.
Hey, they're on top of the bottom 3.
They're on top of the bottom 3. There's a path forward. It's somewhat of a new manager, like
Big Sam. I can't believe it.
Is it a bounce? Is it just not a free fall? I think it might just be not a free fall.
I do have to say, since bringing, I always screwed up. Is it Allardyce. Sorry. Since bringing in Sam Allardyce from his duck fat filled cryogenic chamber to come back to the Premier League.
Goodness.
They've looked better. They've tightened up. Maybe just kind of very simple defensive football is what they need to be doing right now.
I think just teaching them the word defense has helped a lot.
Yeah.
Except for that this weekend.
Maybe next week they'll work on the word penalty kick.
The 2 goals were scored by fullbacks this weekend. Hey. So, defense, question mark?
Hey, same with the Fire. Rafael Shihos. Let's go. Oh, boy. Yeah, it's going to be a wild ride the last few weeks.
We'll see what happens.
And, the last couple of weeks we have been pretty busy, and we've kind of fallen off kind of our discipline in talking about different designs and things, which is fine. It happens time to time in a weekly podcast. But in honor of Leeds and in honor of them potentially being back in the championship next year, we thought we would look at the current, meaning the 2023 season.
And the 2024 Leeds United peer group.
Championship teams, and identify some of the designs in this league that stand out, since we'll be watching a lot more of them next year, just to get ourselves familiar. And there's some familiar faces. There's some teams that, move back and forth quite a bit. But there's some interesting things in the championship.
There's some old school things, some things untouched by time.
That's true, because they have no money to touch them. I heard that on average, a championship team loses 500,000 pounds a season or a week or some crazy amount, like
every week.
Yeah, because the cost of trying to put a team together to make it to the Premier League is so expensive, and the revenue for a championship team is so far below that cost. Now, I'm gonna look that up here, but on average, they're running at losses. It's crazy.
Wow, I mean, that makes sense.
So
that's just, because everyone wants to be better, and that's great. But also, is there anything wrong with just contentment sometimes? It's a great league.
Well, this is interesting. I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about it in context of 2 teams. One which we've talked about quite a bit, Wrexham. And I think a big aspect of what they've done, I think that they've revealed to not just England, but the football world, that you can have a profitable, viable team at a lower level if you build the brand and build the story, because then competition is always compelling, right? So I agree. There could be, I think a team could be profitable in the championship because these are huge, in the scheme of all the teams in England, these are huge teams, right?
But also the narrative with Wrexham is the goal to be promoted.
It is the goal to be promoted, but I would argue that, and they will over the next few years stumble a little bit. Their goal is to make it to the Premier League, but people would still watch and support them even if they hadn't gotten out of non-league football. Think about the popularity of the Sunderland Till I Die series.
A great series.
It was, and that team was floundering, and it ended with them floundering, Yeah. And yet everyone was all of a sudden like, oh, let's see what Sunderland's doing and check that out. Now, if they were organized, they maybe could have translated it to more success like Wrexham did. But I feel like there's an argument that they are now, yeah. I think you're right, there's a room maybe for a team, and maybe there is a team that's just kind of always contently there. I don't know much about the championship, other than that Leeds will be back in it.
Only probably.
So when you were looking at your future rivals next season, what are some of the team designs? This can be kit, this can be badge that stood out to you.
I was really delighted by, like I said, the crests that were untouched by time. But I was also equally delighted by some of the animals that appeared in these crests. And there are a few standouts. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Coventry City is a real standout.
Also just a great name.
Yes.
I mean, I know it's the name of a place. They didn't have a lot of choice, but it's...
So their badge is very coat of armsy. Mm-hmm. It has all of the classic coat of arms elements, but they have a unique coat of arms in that they have an elephant, and you don't see that a lot, I don't think. But one of my favorite designs from this club is their attempt in 2011 at a minimalist version of their coat of arms, in which the elephant that appears as a small charge in the middle of their coat of arms is now like the main feature, and it's just sitting atop a football, and it just kind of looks like a circus elephant on like a...
It does.
On like a little volleyball.
And there's no text or date or anything. It's very nice.
It's nice. It's minimal. It only lasted a year. But I love that it just looks like a circus elephant.
And on its back is like a broken menorah with only 3 prongs. Is that supposed to be a simplified version of the castle towers?
The simplified version of the castle towers that appear in the more ornate coat of arms version of this badge.
It's very, I do like that simplified. The other ones are a little not great, except for the original 1922 to 24, which is a similar, but it has a wonderful addition, which if they added that to the 2011-12, I think they'd have the perfect crest. And that's just kind of a salty bobcat on the top of the crest.
Yeah.
And the crest of that, at least how I'm seeing it here, was green and red and just a black and white bobcat up there.
Most likely taken from the coat of arms of Coventry City.
What did you find out what Camera Principis stands for?
No, but we can look that up.
So under their original badge, it says Camera Principis. So that must be like a film camera.
Yeah,
like
because they had those back then. Yeah,
or a camera obscura, I guess, at that point. So
this is a heraldic motto meaning the prince's chamber. And it is specifically listed as used by Coventry.
The prince's chamber.
The prince's chamber. So I guess that's what's on the elephant's back, is the prince's chamber. Yes.
Well, okay. Moving on. No, I definitely enjoy the 2011-2012 Coventry City
Circus
badge.
elephant.
I'm surprised. I feel like that would really work. Wow, I'm sorry. Was it just fan reaction? It was too different.
Oh gosh, I can only imagine that it's
so much better than the other one.
Let's see. Yeah, they're back to the old school coat of arms. So I imagine that that's a fan reaction.
That's tough.
It's too bad. It's just people so afraid of change.
Oh, well. Anything else, Sandra?
Yes.
Okay, so we're in the animal theme still?
We're still in the animal themes. This delightful group of badges that actually changed much more over the course of time is from Huddersfield Town. Huddersfieldton. And I'm particularly fond of, in the full coat of arms, once again, very like traditional, ornate, lots of charges and symbols, supporters, all these things. But the crest of the coat of arms is a terrier. And this terrier is such a happy little guy. And he features prominently across other versions of the badge. And I really like the 1977-1980, which is this very Italian looking circle badge with like the blue and white stripes from the kits in the center, and then just this little cartoon doggy playing with a soccer ball.
Not playing. Jauntily has one paw resting on the soccer ball and is looking out of the badge. I think that a close second is the 69-71, where it's just a all red, more squat, like a little more feral.
It looks more like
terrier,
it looks more like a bulldog or something.
But like one that's been living on the streets for a while. I like that one is, and it just says the Terriers.
To me, the 77-81 looks like it should be a part of like Lady and the Tramp by Disney. Like that's where this dog came from, and he is the best. And it's my new favorite team. But I saved the best for last here.
Okay. I'm definitely a fan of both of these so far.
So now we're on to Watford.
I've never looked at Watford's old crests.
And Watford's a bit all over the place.
Their crest is also crazy. So credit to them.
Their current crest, so they have two types of mascots. One of them is a deer, and one of them is a hornet.
The deer's their current.
Which
badge, yeah.
American viewers might think of it more as a moose, but I did look up British deer, and they do look weird like a moose.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a bullwinkle.
Fun fact, they actually went extinct for a while in Great Britain, but then they were reintroduced.
Meese did?
No.
Moose.
The deer, the specific type of deer.
Oh, deer. That's right. I got
like, what are you talking about?
English deer, also known as moose. Okay.
Okay, anyways. But they were reintroduced by Scandinavians. So that's your fun fact of the day.
That's great.
For hunting, so that they could be killed again. Anyways, so they have deer and hornets, but what I want to draw your attention to is
They have quite a few great old ones.
Yeah, I really like this one from 68 to 72, which is just a really nice drawing. It's a circular badge in gold, and it's this really nice minimalist drawing of a hornet in red, and then WFC in very hand-drawn letters. And then they have...
I do like all the old ones that have that touch of like a handmade quality to them.
Yeah, just like... some cool hand-drawn or like letterpress or something.
So do you know why they developed two mascots and such different ones as well?
I think the deer was taken from the coat of arms of the town, but their nickname was the Hornets. Kind of like Juventus and its like bull zebra thing.
Yeah, okay.
But they took the Hornet to a new level in 74. And listeners, please go to our website and look up this image because this is totally worth it. There's no explanation for this really, and no explanation for why it lasted so long. But picture a child's drawing in MS Paint of what a child. It looks like Olaf from frozen.
It looks like if Olaf drew a picture of himself.
Yes, but as a hornet.
Yeah.
So this little like guy is an anthropomorphized like hornet guy, and he's got like his two little arms reach in different directions. He's got a like carrot nose in black, his pointy carrot nose. His eyeballs, like they're. This is a detail of the design, but like the line for his head shape goes behind the eyeball and isn't like, do you see this? It like is an intersecting line, so they didn't even erase that part behind his eyeball. I'm
feeling like rulers and circle stencils were used widely in this development of this.
I really
and
like
a deadline was pressing, I feel like.
I really like his cleats. He's wearing cleats.
They look like little rocket ships. They have wings of their own.
His cleats have wings, and he has the frowniest little face. Like the frown emoji. Why is he so mad?
He looks like a mascot for an electricity company because it looks like he's about to be or just was electrocuted.
Yeah.
And if you showed me that and say, guess which championship some, recent Premier League football club had this as their badge at one point, I would never get to Watford.
For half a decade.
I would never get to Watford. I mean, but credit to them, they stick with the weird because their deer crest is also very bizarre. And it's like a hunting lodge deer head. And red, yellow, and black is just such a tough, I think it's a tough color scheme. Like, it's good for emergency signage.
Maybe I don't know. They have a really aggressive feel. But this deer moose also looks like super tired, and
he looks so sad.
And its eyes look a little bit too human-like. If the hornet's eyes look a little bit too pencil sketch, these are just like a little bit too real.
See, I feel like Watford and Wolverhampton are actually like secret societies.
Oh.
Their crests look more like weird symbols that will get you into a Freemason lodge. Anyway.
Now we know how to get in.
So I completely by coincidence focused on another championship team that is animal-centric. And it is a team who actually counts Leeds as their primary rival.
Well, this will be fun.
And that's Hull City. And I think a lot of our listeners would know Hull City has a Bengal tiger as their mascot on their logo. And what I love about it, it's the most American karate dojo looking football crest in the world, because it is currently it looks like a wet Bengal tiger, only because all the fur and ears, everything are kind of down, like seem like they've been matted down. It's done in a hand drawn, but I would say like 1940s tattoo style drawing, and it's on a what's described as amber, but it's a tiger orange shield with the head, and it looks like, and with the name like Hull City, like these are the bad guys in the karate movie. Like this is like Cobra Kai's natural partners.
Hold on, because Cobra Kai did nothing wrong. That Karate Kid caused all those problems.
Okay,
he
Netflix
was never attacked first.
So anyway, Hull City is sweeping the leg for sure. And I've always I've always been partial to tiger-based artworks, and I was curious about it. One, it does really look American. It looks very American to me. The name of it, the color scheme. This looks like it could be any one of a number of American high school. I am sure that there is a cheap American high school somewhere that just stole the tiger from Hull City's badge and currently has it on their helmets and gear. But I was looking through their evolution, and they have some very interesting versions as well. I'll kind of go back from the present. So it hasn't been that different since 2001 to 2014, which included their first ever appearance in the top flight. It's basically the same as you see today, except the shield, which now has kind of a rounded top, is flat, and it says Hull City AFC instead of Hull City. And then there is a banner across the front that says the Tigers, and the color is slightly different, but otherwise it's pretty much the same. But just a year prior, 99 to 2001.
Wow.
Again, a shield. There is a bridge, which I'm guessing is hallmark of the area. 3 crowns over the bridge, and that's across the top fourth of the shield. And then imagine this, the bottom of the shield is orange, and then they decided not to define the shape of the tiger's head, but just to put the stripes, teeth, and eyes floating on that orange field. And the effect is it looks like an obese vampire with lamb chops screaming out because it's a frontal view as well. It doesn't look like a person, like a vampy lamb chop.
Very person-like.
And it only lasted 2 years because it's
How did it last
horrible.
so long?
I think just because the cost of maybe reprinting.
Oh.
98 was their most karate-esque. It's like a screaming, tilted frontal tiger coming at you. And then you have some variations on what we have now. In 75, they dropped the tiger altogether. It just went with the initials of the club, but it's Hull City Athletic Football Club, so it's HCAFC. It's a lot. It's like a Kafka.
It also looks like it's in that one font. What's it called? Papyrus.
It is. It is in
papyrus
font. But probably
because it's an exotic font for an exotic animal mascot.
But probably my favorite is the 19. Take your pick, 47 or 57 to 75, where it is just the Bengal tiger in a shield from 47 to 57. But here it looks like I was trying to the drawing of the tiger was cleared by someone who's never seen a tiger, and it looks like a knockoff Warner Brothers cartoon. I don't even know. It's very elongated. It's very skinny and has much more of a dog's head than I would say a tiger's head, but then huge mustachio whiskers. And it's all the color of the badge, except for the teeth and tongue are separate. It stands out. And it looks like a prison tattoo.
You know what? I like this one.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that it has that weird thing that happens in European art where you're like, had they ever seen a baby before?
No, and I don't think
they
they had.
ever seen a lion or a tiger.
Someone described a tiger to this person. They're like, it's like a dog with stripes, but it has cat whiskers.
It's a cat. But
so what's interesting, I was curious about why the Tigers, and actually when the team was founded, their badge was just 3 crowns stacked on top of each other. And the site we're looking at lists that till 47, but actually it was only their badge until 37. And for 10 years, they did not have a badge on their kits. And it wasn't until 1947, that's when they brought in the Bengal tiger. And they were nicknamed the Tigers because of the colors of their kits, were that amber, which they always describe it, but like that orange and black. But then I believe in the 90s, in 1975, the tiger's head was granted as a heraldic badge by the College of Arms to the English Football League for use by Hull City. But
Earl Marshall.
But then a year later, they changed to just the initials, so I don't understand what they went back. But it is a designated official heraldic badge now.
In the High Court of Chivalry, they approved it.
And researching Hull, there's also a lot of discussion how some of their kits ranked as some of the ugliest in the history of the beautiful game. And we were curious just before recording, so we decided to look. And, there were some ugly on par or unusual on par with any club. But then we got to the both the 93, 94, but especially the 94, 95 home kit. And I would describe it as, so it is an all-over pattern, which was popular back then, of a abstracted tiger pattern. So it's almost like tiger print melding into each other. Think like 70s rug or something like that.
I mean, this looks like it came straight out of like Bruno Mars's closet. This looks like the women's blouse section at every Salvation Army you've ever gone to.
The pattern is wild.
It's so good.
And it's a collared shirt. So you have that with black trim on the sleeves and the collar. But then what makes it even crazier is their sponsor for that season was Needler's Sweets. And Needler's Sweets has a gigantic logo in the center of it that's on a huge black rectangle. Needler's written in cursive at an angle, Sweets underneath. And then it's on what I imagine is a crooked candy wrapper, maybe? Edge of a candy wrapper?
Like, yeah. You know who would wear this?
But the jagged edge of that candy wrapper with that organic pattern, it's just insane.
It's insane. The Big Lebowski would love this shirt.
I feel like kids today would love this shirt because it's so clashy. It's all over the place.
It's great.
And since it was 94, 95, it was very oversized. Mm-hmm. At this point, they were in Division II, which at that point was the third tier in English football. Anyway, Hull City, I'm looking forward to seeing them take on Leeds next year. I just love that our American karate friends in the championship are still around.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun for Leeds to go and meet up with their old pals and see some old friends and some old rivals out on that pitch. And
then fun, if they make a run in the Leagues Cup and what's it called? Sorry, the FA Cup. Sorry, between leagues. That's the Leagues Cup is the Liga MX MLS tournament coming up this summer. Maybe they make a run in the FA Cup and they meet some of their new friends from the Premier League.
Everyone's friends and everything's awesome. So because we're talking about kits and because we're talking about tigers, I wanted to point out too this current kit by Swansea. And that's
their current kit.
Right? 22-23.
Bob Bradley, Swansea City?
This is what I refer to in my mind.
You just ignored me.
Yeah, I'm going to ignore that question. I don't know what that means.
Bob Bradley, the first U.S. coach ever, American coach to coach in the Premier League, Bob Bradley of Chicago Fire fame, the first championship coach of the Fire. He went on to coach the U.S. national teams. He was the first coach of LAFC. He's currently of Toronto, a U.S. legend. He went to Swansea and was their coach for like 5 minutes. And the funniest thing about it is he's very grumpy, and clearly he was going to coach his first game and someone was like, hey, Bob, a lot of the coaches have stylists because, millions of people watch this game. He's like, no, I'm fine. And there's a few of him I don't remember if it was the first game or second, wearing like the worst grandpa turtleneck, like looking so frumpy. And it just played into every stereotype of how stupid Americans were. It was great. He did not last long. Anyway, carry on.
Was it because of his turtleneck or is it because of his attitude or is it because
he just couldn't win over the locker room? Everyone called him Ronald Reagan.
Eat a lot of jelly beans.
Yeah, and
kind of a lot of funding for arts.
He destroyed public schools and funding for the arts. And I, to be honest, I don't know that he was ready for it. Plus the extra scrutiny. So anyway, yeah. But I can't believe, because that kit we're looking at now, because we are talking about Swansea's current kit, looks very dated to me.
It does. I call this the Tony the Tiger kit. Because imagine you just put on... Is that because
it's awesome?
You mean great?
No, I'm pretty sure he says
awesome.
Have you
ever seen a cereal commercial? It looks like somebody skinned Tony the Tiger and then turned it into
changed his stripes to blue. I like it. I can't see what the sponsor is from here.
Swansea University. Privy School Abertway. I don't know what that means or how to say that.
No, I think you did it perfectly. I think that I felt like I was in Old England. Well, I'm excited. I mean, learn about new teams, catch new games. We get to watch them a couple years play Wrexham you know. We'll hear a lot about it on Men in Blazers because Everton will probably be down there with them.
Yeah, Everton's going to be right there with them.
This is going to be a banner year for the championship. And I've heard that FIFA is going to allow one MLS team to play in the championship.
Cool.
Yeah. Who do you think would do the best? You don't really know the league that well, but from what you've seen.
From what I've seen, who would do the best in the championship?
From MLS.
From MLS.
Who could potentially go up?
Probably LAFC because they're the best.
Yeah. I don't know if they could handle the stuff. Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
The correct answer is always Chicago Fire.
No,
they would be non-league.
To League One.
No, they would be non-league. Oh my gosh. All right, so Maria, what are you looking forward to?
Wait, hold on.
Oh, there's more.
I have one more thing that I wanted to bring up because last week, remember when we talked about how the perfect kit would just be a ringer tee? Well, I found it.
I think one of us said that. Yeah.
It's Bristol City, and their kit's just a butter yellow ringer tee with green bands on the arms and neck.
Just silk screen, no embroidery.
Gorgeous.
And I love that the photo you're showing me has a total bro with like his chain necklace hanging out over.
He's got his chain, and he's just like slouching.
And they are sponsored by Hubu.
Hubu. The hoobiest booze.
Hubu, you think you are. Bristol City. Oh, yeah, that is bad.
I like
is that
it.
No, that's their third kit, though. So that's like more of just for selling.
But aren't the third kits supposed to be the nice ones?
Well, but maybe... See, their other kits look like normal.
Look at this one. This one's their keeper kit, and it's pretty cool.
I would say it's inspired by abstract expressionism.
I would say it looks like carpet at a roller rink.
It looks like a lot of backdrops from my middle school and high school photo shoots. School pictures.
Wow, they give you colors? That's cool.
Well, you could pick, but they actually had to pull it down. They actually had to hand paint it behind you.
It's like a black background with neon feathers.
Did you ever have the T-shirts that reacted to heat?
No.
You didn't have that?
I think that those were around, but I did not buy those.
Okay.
Because I was wise.
Well, you were probably so young you didn't buy anything.
I was swimming in cash.
You just
I got
This is toddler with $100 bills in their mouth. What do they want?
No, I got my allowance through doing chores, and it was all in quarters. So I had just stacks of quarters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I paid for everything in quarters.
Wow.
My parents would come to me for change.
We would just dig through trash cans to get recyclables. Because in Michigan, you got money for them. And it was the same amount back then as it is now. So back then it was actually...
Wow.
I think I've mentioned that before.
I don't think so.
Okay. Moving on. So in a competition between Hull City's all over tiger print
and that ringer tee from Bristol City?
Who would win? I would say the all over. I'm actually going to try to find this I'm going to hunt down.
It's nice.
If not that, just a shirt from Needler Sweets.
You know, that's a
great logo.
You can just go to the women's section at Salvation Army and you can find that there.
I would be, if you went to Salvation Army in Chicago and found a 94-95.
No, I mean, you can find that print.
Oh, yeah.
You can find that print.
I'm not going to make my own 94-95 Hull City. All right. So what are you looking forward to this week, Maria? Excellent.
I can't remember if our next game is against West Ham or if it's against West Ham. So I'm looking forward to beating West Ham.
You're going to wait? How many years are you going to have to wait?
What? No, we're going to win.
I think you might. I think Leeds might win because, hey, they tied Newcastle, which is
that was no small thing.
No joke. I mean, that is a win. And West Ham is all over the place. So, yeah, that is... West Ham next Sunday. So, the day before my anniversary.
Oh, well, Leeds can win in honor of you and Olivia's anniversary.
I think Olivia and I would like nothing better than... I'm sure she's like, what? What's a Leeds? I'm looking forward. The Fire entering a busy schedule. They have a game Wednesday and next week. So...
Wow.
let's hope that
let's continue that
the
streak.
Klopas bounce continues.
Yeah.
And it's always exciting. Although I feel the excitement of the end of the English Premier League season is kind of dying out with Arsenal losing today.
Oh, that was so sad.
It's kind of over. And the battle for the bottom is kind of solidifying too. Unfortunately, Leeds is still really caught up in it, but I feel like Everton and Leeds are going to be fighting it out for that third spot. So, whew.
Woo!
But it's good. And then I'm looking forward to, in a couple weeks, just not being so busy and getting on with the Footy Museum.
Yeah.
Work will be good because it's been really busy.
Yeah, you've been
too busy.
Busy.
So, all right.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
Watched the Women's FA Cup final today.
Oh, yeah.
Between Man United and Chelsea.
Yeah.
It was very exciting. It set records for attendance.
Absolutely.
It was great.
Who won?
Chelsea.
Yeah. Well, I guess between those two, you would pick that one.
What
was the attendance?
It was over 77,000.
See.
Yeah.
The women's game in Europe has just exploded.
Yeah.
It's worrisome for the U.S. national team. Because I think there's that you get comfortable being like the best, you know, and then a lot of them play in NWSL, which is a problematic league, I would say, in some ways. It's growing. There's some great players in it, but it's not at the level. I mean, when you are Chelsea or Manchester City, think of the resources.
You have so many resources.
Automatically have.
Yeah.
And then the fan bases have just completely carried over that.
Yeah.
And it's not just in England, you know, it's all over Europe. So it's great for football. I do worry about this upcoming World Cup. We have a World Cup again, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
Looking forward to that. That's coming up fast.
I gotta say though, watching that FA Cup final, I know it's like the top teams like playing, and so it was like a really high quality game. But that compared to the Red Stars versus Racing Louisville, it was like, oh my goodness.
I wasn't gonna bring up the Red Stars. I think we texted this week. I said they're struggling, and you said the Red Stars are not in good football form at the moment.
It's just like da. Yeah.
It's just it's bad. Maybe it's the SeatGeek Park is just cursed. I don't know.
Well, they were playing in
Louisville is definitely
next to that highway, and
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, their season just started. They have time to turn it around.
Yeah.
But that's hard to compare to the, FA Cup final.
Yeah, it's hard to compare. It just felt like a completely different game. Also, I know I don't like to get distracted by the advertisements, but when you watch something and they show you an advertisement, they're showing you who they think this thing is for. And the NWSL sideline advertisements were for like blenders and fizzy coffee and fertility treatments. And
so that they knew I was watching.
And I'm like, where's my airline? Where's my like online betting? Where's my DeWalt drills? This is why men don't tune in.
Just because of the ads?
Just because of the ads.
Oh, I think men watch those games. I don't know. I think especially like a team like Chelsea, whose men's teams suck, they must be all over.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They had the good ads.
Oh.
The Premier League had the good ads.
Oh.
NWSL had the blenders.
It's the NWSL that had the bad. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's bad.
Although I am interested in this fizzy coffee.
Well, it's weird because MLS doesn't really have ads now. That's all on Apple. All their ads are Apple related or MLS related.
Just for themselves.
They're just stuck in a hall of mirrors. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But how are you, if you were watching on Apple, you already have Apple.
But Apple knows you can always have more Apple.
Whoa.
Okay, this podcast has gone too long. We'll be back next week. So until then, check us out on our website, thefootymuseum.com. We'll be gearing up later this year. Lots coming. And please subscribe to this podcast. And we will hopefully start bringing guests back in shortly. So that's it. Bye, Maria.
Bye, Justin.
Can I interest you in some fizzy coffee?
You have some?
Yeah, sure.